All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there is also my FX Buddies, the blog, and Spotify.com and RSS.com. But, so, okay, the blog, I can't believe a year ago I bought myfxbuddies.com. I still have not figured out how to direct it. So it's just sitting there. Ugh. Not to mention that was a waste of money, even though it was only like $8. But anyway, so to get to the blog, you go to myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, or there's a link if you're listening to the podcast or if you're watching it on Spotify.com. There's a link somewhere. But if you're listening to this on YouTube, there's a link to this specific blog post in the more info box. You look below, it says show more. You click show more, and the link will be there. Because you might want to see this. So yesterday was Thanksgiving Day, and I was going to do a post, but I was just having so much fun. I did not feel like doing anything that resembled work. So today is the day after. It's Friday, November 24th, 2023. All right, so that's everything. Oh, and anything that I show, display, talk about is covered under the Fair Use Disclaimer Act because I'm just showing it for teaching or commenting or criticism or just sharing. All right, so that covers that. Okay, so it's been a while. I don't even know when I did the last one, right? It doesn't have the date here. But everything is still moseying along, but it's good. There are some problems with Iran, and there's always going to be problems, but yeah, we're just maneuvering the way that, and we being the Pentagon, United States government, whatever, maneuvering the way that's best. Okay, so but this is all about money. It's all about the money. So central bank governor, who is who? What? What's his name? Yes, Al-Alaq. See right here, Al-Alaq. Actually, this man has about 6 different names, but anyway, in this article, he is Al-Alaq. So the central bank governor, we agreed with America to leave the electronic platform at the end of the year. And where are we? We're at the end of the year. See, because I do believe they started with this going through the Treasury, going through the Federal Reserve last November. But we didn't find out about it until February. First, they hid it from us, right? Like they do. But so, and it's right in the timeline of ending, getting prepared for the next year. And I know I tell you guys every year, Iraq's fiscal year is January to December, but nobody believes me, and that's okay. That is okay. One of these articles in here specifically says, because we're wrapping up our fiscal year, so then you don't have to argue with me, you don't have to wonder anymore. Yes, it is their fiscal year and it's ending. All right, so the little subtitle, and I didn't put that in red. That paper does that, and it must be how they feel the criticalness. I'm sure that's not a word, but the level of whatever. Because sometimes it's just yellow, and then sometimes there's no color there at all. So I'm thinking maybe they think this is important, but actually it was. This was most of the news today, and it's also in other countries' news already, other Arab nations, because it does affect, especially the UAE, which is United Arab Emirates, which so far I think includes Abu Dhabi, uh, Dubai, and I guess some other places that I probably will never go. But anyway, yeah, okay, so coordination, here's the subtitle: Coordination with the Treasury and the Federal Reserve, which is not anyhow federal, and some people say they have no reserves. But anyway, today, Friday, they announced the start of importing dollars into the country through the accounts of Iraqi banks abroad. And this word abroad is used a lot in these articles. And while he indicated that the end of the procedures for opening accounts in the UAE dirham and the understanding with Turkey to make transfers in the euro or the Turkish currency, see, so they're actually going to use both the lira and the euro. Isn't that interesting? He revealed a broad plan to reform and develop private and government banks. So I believe it's all done. I think all the countries have agreed. I think the accounts are funded. I think it's all done. Probably gonna start, if it hasn't already started, maybe it's gonna start next week, or maybe December. I don't know, but just a few days ago they were saying that they were waiting for the dirham to be funded. But now the way that sentence reads, in my opinion, it's all done. Okay. So, meeting with the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve. We heard they're supposed to meet sometime next week. Yeah, okay. So, Al-Alaq said in the interview that the Central Bank of Iraq is in constant communication with the U.S. Treasury Department and with the U.S. Federal Bank, that's what they call it. It's the Federal Reserve Bank, whatever, indicating that this communication continues permanently and there are quarterly meetings held to review all related matters within the framework of this relationship. He added, there is a meeting that will be held at the beginning of next month. So not next week, next month, which is actually only 8 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8 days, but December 1st is a Friday, so it's not going to happen that day, right? Because that's their holy day. So 10, 12 days is this meeting, and we'll get further into that, what that is. All right, so these meetings will review all matters, okay? All matters with emphasis on and focus on the issue of regulating external transfer in a way that ensures the safety of the financial system, especially after the implementation of the new transfer system. External, so out of the country, right, which requires a lot of coordination. So that's another thing that I think is done. Well, it's implemented. And if you've listened to me for any time, you know that I always say Iraq does things in 3 stages. They approve, they implement, and they activate. So we could be in implementation waiting for activation, right? But it's all, I believe it's already connected, probably tested, right? And ready to go. So he stated that these developments have occurred. They are radical and not formal developments within the framework of reorganizing trade on sound foundations and blah, blah, blah. All these words are important, but this is very boring. I know it's very boring, but it's very important. It's affecting the next stage. And also, all the people who moan, oh, we've never, it's just the same. It's the same as every year. Here we are, Black Friday. We don't have the RV. So what? It's totally different. You cannot say it's the same. We have never been at this stage before, and I showed you in documentation, which, by the way, accessing the blog is free. There's no monthly fee you have to pay. Granted, there's no community to discuss the articles, but at least you can see them. The link to them is there and everything for free. Anyway, so okay. The next meeting will be in the Emirati city of Dubai, pointing out again that there are quarterly meetings that happen, but looky here, it says via phone or video. So phone calls or something like Zoom is how they have these meetings, right? Okay, so if we go through this article, which I'm not, but you can see these headings here, right? So the next one was agreement to strengthen banks with dollars. So, oh yeah, we didn't talk about this, but so they've done something where the dollar is going to be available to whoever wants it, and the vendors that sell it, they're allowed to sell it again, which seems crazy after they did all these efforts to arrest, right, and shut down. But I guess those were the unlicensed ones, and those were the ones that they literally knew they were doing corrupt business handlings or practices. So I guess now they figure, well, the people who are open now are licensed or not do, they haven't been tied to corruption or whatever. So that's what that's about. Strengthening banks with dollars, and you'll be able to get dollars. But if they switch to the dinar with the new rate, they're not going to want dollars, right? So they've opened more than 40 bank accounts for Iraqi banks with correspondent banks or abroad. So again, there's that word. But so banks in country, out of country have these accounts to import dollars. Yes, I said import dollars, but wait. And also these other currencies, the dirham, the yuan, the rupee, the euro, and they plan on doing others. So here, understandings for making transfers through Turkish banks. So there's the procedure for that. Completion of work on the electronic platform. This will lead to the end of the work on the electronic platform in 2024. So that could be the first quarter of 2024. I know they said they're not going to do any more dollar using the dollar after January 1st, but yeah, get ready to that not be true. I think for the most part it will be, but that it's a hard date, right? They set the date and then it'll take a while for it to actually take full effect. Notice I said full effect. And also, what time is it? Okay. Also, if they don't change the rate, the people are still not going to want to use the dinar, right? Okay. So processing rejected transfers gradually. So there's some that have been rejected. They're going to go back and redo those. I think that's what that is saying. And here, the American side reduced the amount of dollars. So it's very long. It has a lot of information. Expanding the diversification of foreign transactions for all Iraqi banks. Let's see, is this one? They began to intervene successively. So to me, that means they brought one on at a time and now they're done. There's some other words there you can read, but I don't want to spend the whole blog on this article, even though you could. And see, import of various currency comes into effect. So I think it's live. He pointed out import operations in various currencies have entered into force. For example, they were initiated some time ago with the yuan, then the euro, and now the dirham. So dirham will begin next week. But see, everything's completed. And so they probably got their money in, so now they can start next week. We aim to reduce the demand for the dollar, so that's why they're doing this, right? It puts pressure on the cash exchange rate. Follow the market, Iraqi remittances in dollars. The mechanism for private banks importing dollars. So a lot of you have like really technical questions. Well, how can they do that? No one else does it. How can they do that? Well, if you read this article, your answer is probably here. And I do want to read this. As long as our Iraqi banks have balances abroad in foreign currencies, it is better for us to enter it. So that's how Iraq can enter the other countries and go international. And this supports the reserves in the central bank. That is, instead of the bank using its foreign currency reserves, the currency will be available from the bank's accounts. And this is an important point because some legal people and economists were saying, if you do this, you're going to dip into our foreign currency and then we won't have what we need to cover our currency. And they're saying, no, see, because we did it this way, our foreign currency is going to be okay. Our foreign currency reserves is going to be okay. And then lastly, a study to restructure banks in Iraq. And all of that is necessary for them to change the rate. So they also had this in Kurdish news. So I'm not going to read this, but I put it here because I just want you guys to see. And sometimes they'll have like one or two sentences, maybe in this article that's not in the other article. But these actually seem to be word for word. But so yeah, same thing. There's a broad reform plan that includes merging private banks and correcting their conditions. So it's a different title, which there's a little more information in that title, right? But it's pretty much the same article. All right, we're at 17 minutes. Now, Washington responds to all that Iraq needs in terms of dollars and a meeting with it next month. So here again, I'm feeling publicly the meeting they said they were going to have next week. Notice I said publicly. They've moved it to Dubai, and one of these articles says December 6th. Noting that the electronic platform will be completed early next year. But that's their agreement to be on that form. So the Treasury, I bet you there'll be not only the central bank person. See, they're going to exit the process. And they're going to start this new process. They probably have a checklist of things they have to go through and say, yeah, you did this, you did this, you did this. And see, there are no restrictions on Iraqi funds abroad. So this is us saying this, right? This is Washington saying this. So this article is not as long, and so it doesn't have all the points, but it's us, responding to him. Okay. See, exchange companies are back. They're back. Operating and demand will decrease. An expert explains the decision to sell the dollar at the market price, but then if you read this, it actually is going to be whatever the market demands. So eventually, the market won't even demand 13.20, right? If they change the rate, the people can't use the dollar as liberally, I guess, as openly, then it won't be of any value for them to have it, right? So, yeah. But anyway, let's see. Listen to how dramatic this is. The end of the current world. Dubai hosts an investment conference for Iraq. And when is this? December 7th and 8th. So this seems to be more like a conference, but they could put that meeting here, right? They could have that meeting on the sidelines, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Just what did I say? 9 more days to find out. Then they're having a conference on tax reform in Iraq on December 6th. So they're going to have their new system, their new rate, their new money. Yeah, right. I guess that's probably their hope. That's probably what they want to have. But they do have to talk about taxes because all this time they've gone, sometimes there's tax, sometimes there's not tax. They've done all this new, um, they're gonna have, excuse me, they're gonna have to start taxing, explaining, right? Some of these people they've never been taxed before, not their incomes, right? So there's a lot they're gonna have to explain. All right. Parliamentary finance talks about a measure by the central bank, the only way to stabilize exchange rates, and it is diversifying sources of foreign currencies. So just pretty much the same thing. I just want you guys to see this is pretty much all they talk about now. Well, that and the fact that our soldiers on those bases, they've been hit with over 70 attacks and there's over 100 of them injured. There's probably one or two that died. They're just not telling us because they don't want us to get angry. Because then they'll be saying, well, why are we in Iraq anyway? It's been 20 years. I just threw this in here. Plus, look, it's only like 3 sentences. Most of it is this chart, and the chart is, even though the numbers are regular numbers that most people know how to read, the words are in Arabic. But the Arab Monetary Fund expects the Iraqi economy to grow by 4.5% in 2024. Usually, it's the IMF that makes statements like this. But here you have the Arab Monetary Fund because it was focusing on just the Gulf countries. But I thought that was interesting. So their footprint is getting bigger, right? And if you listen to the same person I listened to for years, he's been telling us there's eventually going to be like 10, maybe 7 now. But at the original plan, there would be like 10 monetary funds, right? An Asian one, but now the world is so different. Anyway, all right. Parliamentary finance. The central bank has come a long way in its mission to get rid of the dominance of the dollar. So this is Parliamentary Finance Committee, and he's saying, look at what we've done, but we still have more to do. Here's another guy. Is this the guy? No, but here's another economist. No, committee. Maybe he's on the Parliamentary Finance Committee. Also talking about this new system, but here's the title. We look forward to new steps that will restore stability to the market and end the problem of exchange rate fluctuations. So they need to do that, quote unquote, need to do that. But listen to this. And strengthening the strength of the Iraqi dinar and its entry into the line of global commercial transactions. Yeah, baby, that's what we want. So we're getting close. We're getting close. All right, and then he goes on to talk about they have a well thought out strategy to open new horizons. So this is a good article. All right, here's another one. Oh, this we can skip that because we're getting close to. It's the same thing. It's just a different version. So I meant to have that at the bottom. Oh, you know what? I may have put these here twice because here's from Kurdish news. That's what I did. I copied these twice. So, maybe I'll go back and delete it. Maybe I won't. But, so if you go there, just notice that, oh no, this is a different one. Because this is the one they use broad reform and the word abroad a lot. But it's pretty much the same thing. But it covers stuff I didn't cover. All right. A government advisor explains the mechanism for selling the dollar outside the central bank platform. This is another one of those articles for people who want to know the how, the why. Yep. Here. This is good for you. You want to read that. And but here, therefore, liberalizing the climate of dealing in foreign currency and giving it a white character will provide high flexibility. So, unfortunately, they still, black is bad, white is good, right? That's just how it is over there. But, so they're saying that the dollar is no longer going to be blackballed, blacklisted. But like I said, it'll go at a market rate, not the 13.20. Whatever the market they could get for it serves them right. They shouldn't be going out of not the lines, but that's their attitude. Okay, you want to go back to going to these exchangers? Well, then you pay whatever you pay, right? This was a good article also, but not important. I mean, we could skip it. So this guy, okay, here he is. Uh-oh, I did something. The title's missing. So, but this guy, he's a media advisor. He tweeted, but the line isn't there. The battle for the dollar is nearing its end. I'm going to have to go back and fix it. Because what he's, oh, here it is. Another social media quotes him as the battle for the dollar is almost over. So see, not quite over, but almost over. We're getting close. All right. And then, okay, yeah. So here we're at the very last article. Well, this is going to be on the blog. I'm going to show you something that just came out, which may be bad or good. But this article, the ongoing dollar crisis, is getting a lot of eyes on it because it talks about the plan they had in 2006 where they were gonna, the dinar was about 1,500 dinars per dollar. They brought it down to 1170. The next step was to bring it to 1,000 to $1. See, it's right here. So you may have heard about this, but here it is. You can come here and read it for yourself for free. The link will be in the description box. And, but it doesn't matter. This is their old plan, right? We're 14 years past this, right? So, but it is good to see at one time, and plus we just recently heard again, they were trying to get to 1,000 dinars to $1, and then from there they were thinking maybe they would put it on Forex, and then it would go, that would be it. But doesn't seem like they were able to do that for whatever reason. But everything's good. Everything money-wise, monetary reform is good. Okay, so like I said, this just came out. Moody's, and you've probably been hearing a lot about Moody's. They've been downgrading. They downgraded the USA. They downgraded Morgan, JP Morgan, Chase, and two other of our major banks here, right? So now the expansion of the conflict between ice cream land, right? For this, I have to say that ice cream land, and I was saying pizza land, but here they're using ham with 2 letters after it. Okay, a group. All right, hopefully you got that. But if not, look at the video and you can see because I'm pointing directly at the word. So because of that conflict, it may affect Iraq. So I don't know. Right now, Iraq is at CAA1. They're maintaining them, but if this drags on, it could hurt them. So it kind of bothers me that they're already looking at it, right? But it is what it is, right? So yeah, but so if I do another post, like I said, this just came out. Let's see, where did the market close? Probably 1308. Come on, fix yourself. Well, I have a ton of tabs open. So no, it's not gonna. But it's probably 1308. That's usually where it closes for the weekend. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 1308. So, um, over the weekend, maybe we'll get more of that Moody's article. Maybe not, but yeah. So you are all caught up. Um, today's Friday. Maybe I'll do if something really good comes out, which maybe, right? Where there's lots of anticipation for something good to come out. Then I would definitely do another post. But right now I'll try to do one on Sunday just to catch you up for that and see what next week brings us. All right. So thank you for listening. I'll say enjoy your weekend. Accumulate for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are enjoying this content. Oh, and subscribe or whatever option it gives you because I don't post regularly. But if you connect, join, subscribe, whatever option is there, click that button, tap it, whatever. And if technology works like it's supposed to, when I do post, you'll get up. It'll say, hey, she posted. Go listen to it. All right. Thank you. Until next time.